Hello, everybody. Blair Nightingale here coming at you. It is time for Market Monday. Let's go ahead and get the markets up here as well. Glad to have you guys on here today. I can see you piling into the class today. How to end your trading year well. How to end your trading year well. Some of this is going to be how to end anything well, right? How to end anything well, but we got some things specifically for your trading here. I'm going to go over a quick market update to start us out as well. We got some pretty big things happening tomorrow morning. I want to make sure that you know what those are. So I will go over that quickly. Of course, as always, you can look in the comment box there. If you're joining us on Facebook, on YouTube, we are happy to have you. Please go ahead and light up those comments. If you got any questions, comments, you just want to say hi, as we always say here on Market Monday, you can do that as well. And I love to hear from you. I love to hear from you. And this is an opportunity for questions, right? It's an opportunity for you and me to look at some specific things. Maybe it has to do with our specific topic today, but it doesn't have to. That's what we do different here, right? We give you the ability to interact with us live. Of course, I know some of you guys will be watching this on recording. Maybe somebody referred this to you. Of course, we're glad to have you here as well. If you ever join us live, you get that opportunity to interact as well. So let's take a look at the market here really quick. I want to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what's going on here. Remember that the idea here is, as we look at the markets, we get an idea of rising tides tends to raise all boats. Rising tides tends to raise all boats. And in this case, you can see the S&P 500, right? This major index, 11 sectors of the economy. It gives us a nice broad base index. It's been in this pattern all year. Let's go here. All year long, right? This big downtrend. Interest rates have been going up. Fed has been aggressive. Markets have been moving down. But that doesn't negate the fact that we've seen these pretty big recoveries. Now, they're making lower lows, right? So we're firmly in that bear market, but pretty big bounce here. What did we do? We went sideways at support. CPI report tomorrow. Inflation. That's been driving all of the market movement all year. Speculation that CPI is going to go down, market goes up, right? Proof or even speculation that CPI is not going down, it's getting worse, market moves down. Market moves down, right? That's the overall trend. In the day to day, as we're trading and looking for opportunities, we're looking at patterns. And you can see this trend line here. We came back into this line. We've got this kind of wedge going on. Remember, this is that long-term one on the top here. It came into this 100-day, 50-day, what's the word I'm looking for here? Cluster, moving average cluster, and popped up, right? Popped up as speculation before the CPI report tomorrow morning. Obviously, if you see Wall Street getting a little bit of buying action there, like it did today, then some speculation that this report is going to be positive. And the majority of economists in polls that I read today in the financial news were suggesting that they expect it to go down, which would be positive for the market and why they're willing to take some risk here. Of course, we don't know that. And we don't know if it does go down exactly how much that might be. That will come out before the bell in the morning. So if we're looking at trading tomorrow, obviously we need to know about Fed, and then we need to be finding patterns that are great patterns. We started off even on this specific chart here, and these are the kinds of things we're looking for, right? Where the market is making higher highs and the stock rather is making higher highs and higher lows. It's holding that support, not failing as the market's been chopping sideways the last 4 or 5 sessions. And then we actually broke through that previous high here, right? That's what we want to see. And there are charts like that out there. Of course, bearish opportunities out there as well if we do see the markets break down, which they could easily do, right? We don't know exactly what the CPI is going to be. We've got the Dow right here. looking softer for sure. And then what I don't have on here, just go over and look at how the NASDAQ finished out the day. Still looking more vulnerable here, but definitely got a little bit of a nibble at the end of the day there on the NASDAQ. So that sets us up for tomorrow. You see that positive report in the morning. If it happens, remember, that's two. That's two in a row. So it's not only that tomorrow will be positive, if it is, but it's an additional one to the last report that we got. And that suggests a trend that maybe inflation has truly peaked, right? Has truly peaked. That's going to be big for Wall Street. So we could see that market rip back to that 200-day easily tomorrow. If it breaks this trend line, then we're doing something different than what we've done the whole year, right? Right down to the wire here on December, what are we looking at? 12th, right? December 12th. So that's pretty significant, okay? Now, today's session, as I said, we get to December 12th. We get to the end of the year. This is a good time. I'll say this. I like to say to people, the day we're living in, doesn't matter what day it is, March 14th, right? September 3rd, August 17th, it does not matter. That is the day that is the right day to implement new things, to take you in the direction that you want to go. We don't have to wait till January. The reason there is some power in the New Year's resolution, right, is because so many people are doing it. There's a collective drive to pursue those new things. Now, what's the weakness of that at the same time? The weakness is that as that collective drive dries up, and it does every year, many, if not most, who got their energy primarily from the New Year's resolution buzz, well, once that's gone, they lose it too. So we don't want that. Now, December 12th is a great time to say, I'm going to end well so that I can start well. I'm going to end well so I can start well. And I'm going to develop my own plan, and I'm going to generate my own energy for the kinds of changes I want to see in 2023. I'm going to do it now, right? Doesn't take a lot of time. Doesn't take a huge investment. I'm going to give you 3 points, 3 specific points today to focus on to end the trading year well. We want to end well. Why do we want to end well? Because we want to transition into the next season well, right? We want to get the most out of what's coming. So let's get the most out of what has just gone by. That's what we're looking at today. So how to end the trading year well. I'm going to just say the 3 points, and then I'm going to give some points underneath those right now so you have them. Celebrate, number 1, your progress. Celebrate your progress. Number 2, track your progress, right? These aren't in order of importance necessarily, right? I'll comment on that in a minute, but I'm getting them out to you first. Celebrate your progress, track your progress. And the third one, advance your progress, right? Advance your progress. We're not done. We're going to keep going, right? So how to end the trading year well, one more time, celebrate, track, and advance your progress. That's what we want to do. Now, the first one, I feel like the first one is the most overlooked one. It's the most overlooked one. Celebrate your progress. Traders have, and you can see easily why this happens. Traders have the potential. They have the proclivity, the tendency to look at how much money did I make this year, right? And that is the only metric by which they measure. Now, how much did I make or how much did I lose? That's it. If I made money, I did well. If I didn't make money, I didn't do well. And there are intricacies to that suggest that it's not always as simple as that. Now, obviously, we want to have a positive equity curve. We want to have a net positive year. That's the goal, right? We want to move towards that, and we want to move towards better and better years. There's no question. But as we're learning trading, which is what we do in this community, we need to understand that we can make money in a trade when we've done everything incorrectly as it pertains to risk management, right? We can get into the specifics of a system, triggers, entries, timeframes, investment vehicles, options, selling them, buying them, spreads, directional. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the strategy is, day trading, swing trading, position trading. It doesn't matter. That's all system. The things, I shouldn't say it doesn't matter. Those things are important, but in connection to the point I'm making right now, which is that if I only think about P&L, I'm going to miss the most important thing in trading that impacts my P&L, right? And that's my mindset and my habits. My habits are driven by my mindset. So I have to deal with that. And if I never celebrate progress, but I only track P&L, right? Especially if you're newer. A lot of people in our community, honestly, never thought they'd learn to stock trade, right? But they do. They do stock trade and they have been learning to do it. And so celebrating the progress generates healthy energy, excitement, joy, gratitude. These are good things. These are good things that feed a lot of positive emotion, a lot of positive attention into your trading. This isn't just woo woo mind over matter. This is important. God did something significant in your life this year through trading, right? No matter what your experience was, it was a step of faith. It was growth. It was challenging. It was exciting, right? You look at what you did, including the P&L, and we celebrate. We celebrate the progress. So think about this specifically. Where were you at the beginning of this year, right? Where were you in your understanding of the markets? Maybe a specific part of it, maybe market tone, maybe options, maybe how spreads work, right? Maybe how to put in an order ticket and buy stock. Maybe you'd never actually placed a trade before, and you did this year. Maybe you have pages of data because you've been active all year and you did a better job at tracking your trades this year. Whatever it is, find it, right? Find it and say, wow, thank you, Lord. I did that, right? We did that together this year. And that's really positive, right? My personality tends to be mountaintop to mountaintop, right? As soon as I finish one thing, I'm already looking at the other thing. I'm not even really stopping on the mountain peak to look around and go, wow, that was a climb. And this view is amazing. And I'm going to take this view in before I go on to the next thing. That is not typically what I do. And I've learned that over time, that can be very draining. It can be draining. And I definitely don't find myself in the same place of gratitude because I haven't taken an inventory of everything that's really happened, right? So maybe you started trading this year. Maybe this was your second, third, 12th year. If it was your second, you kept going. If it's your 12th, man, you've been rocking and rolling in the markets longer than I have, right? You've been doing it, working on it, growing, chipping away at it. And that's definitely something to celebrate. Where did you start the year, right? That's important to look at because then you can look at where you are now and look at how far you've come, right? What did you accomplish this year? So yes, we can look at P&L, right? But you learned some new strategies. You learned how to integrate it into your life a little bit better this year, right? You learned how to use a different platform, right? You called the coaches more. There are different things here that we could plug in. Whatever it is in your trading journey, you learned a strategy that you didn't know before, right? You achieved that positive equity curve, maybe for the first time. And that's important to celebrate for sure. That is huge. That is huge. Whatever it is. Now, I said at the beginning, right? Some of these things, they're not unique just to trading. You could do this in any area, but we definitely don't want to skip it in this either, right? We don't want to skip it in this. That's number one. Celebrate your progress. It generates so much positivity and gratitude in your life that it can't help but affect your trading in a positive way. So I love that. I love that. Number two, track your progress. Now, remember, I said these aren't necessarily in order of importance. I would say celebration, again, as the more overlooked, is extremely important, but no question, tracking your progress, which is an activity we learn to do throughout the year, right? If you track your progress, then here we are at the end of the year, able to review it. We need to be able to review it. This is what a good coach will do in any area, right? Hey, let's look at the actual data. I've got this Fitbit on my hand here, right? It's a very, very basic Fitbit. I did that specifically because I said, you know what? It's very simple to do, but I want to track my health in certain areas much more specifically, right? And I can't make the meaningful adjustments that I want to make so I can get better results. Results are the goal. I'm not just doing it to do it. I'm doing it because I want better results. I like the results, right? So it gave me the data I needed in trading. I heard Jared, one of the coaches here at Tradeway, say the other day that trading is the shortest part of trading, right? And what he meant by that is actually getting in and out of trades. That's the shortest activity that we actually do in trading. Trading is management, it's tracking, it's searching for great opportunities and saying no most of the time. Buying and selling an option, a stock, a spread, doesn't matter what it is. That's the thing we do the least, even if you're a very active trader, right? So tracking and understanding what we've been doing is important. So this is a good time of year, finishing well, to look at what'd you learn this year. Now, remember, we just did a little bit of an inventory on celebrating where we've come from, but specifically, what are some of the things you go, oh, I get that now. I got breakthrough in that. I learned this. I learned that. I set out to do it. And maybe some areas I did and some areas I didn't. Oh, that's going to still be on my list of goals for the coming year. I want to focus. I want to recognize that. I don't want to skip over it. I want to make sure I decide what it is I'm going to do this coming year. And when I have that clarity, I have a much higher potential to actually do it, right? So I want to look at that, but I want to look specifically at the data. What did I trade this year, right? What did I trade? Did I track this year? Did I really track what I traded? Or did I just trade, right? What is that P&L curve, profit and loss for the year? How were my stop outs? Was that a big thing for me this year? Was it buy points? Did I get good buy points, but not so great stop outs? Good stop outs, but not so good buy points, right? I had discipline to stop out, but my buy points weren't good. I was confused on something. It was my great. I put in here, what was your biggest challenge this year, right? That's a good question to ask yourself. What was the biggest thing this year? And I think if I could change this one habit, mindset, right, from 2022, it would be huge. That's a great thing to discover. We don't need a list of 7 things. If you've got it, great. But what's number 1? What's the needle moving, the big one at the top of that list? Right? If I have data, then I can look back and see that. Now, I always encourage people when they're tracking trades, when they're writing down or typing into a journal or a note on your laptop, phone, whatever you do. Maybe it's right there in charts by Tradeway. There is a need to put at least a little bit of mental and emotional notes. Why did I choose this trade? How did I feel when I was getting in? How did I feel when I was getting out? Right? Because now here we are, December 12th. You can look back and look at the numbers and go, geez, I don't even know why I did that trade. And you have a note there. And you can see the maturity come as the year goes on. Or perhaps you notice, oh, I keep doing the same thing over and over. I keep making the same mistake. I'm going to need some help with that. That's huge. I tell people all the time, I tell myself, perseverance is character. But perseverance without adjustment is exhausting. it leads to burnout. Yes, we want to be a people who persevere, but we don't want to persevere just doing the same thing, right? That's not the wisdom of God. We want to have the character of perseverance, but we want to have the power of wisdom. And wisdom says, I got to track it so I can adjust. I have to make a meaningful adjustment. And my perseverance can partner with adjustment to seek greater breakthroughs, right? Super important. So, what was the biggest challenge, right? What was the biggest challenge? That's a great one. And I put in here in my notes review, review, review. Taking some time, not trading, to look at the habits, look at the practices, look at the things I've been doing consistently that are good and are not good, so that I know, oh, this is what I'm going to start to look at and work on to move forward. A friend of mine tells me a lot of people just measure, 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 right? But then they skip adjusting. We want to measure once. Now, I know the old saying is measure twice, cut once. I'm speaking of something different. If we want to measure something like our trading ability, we have to partner with some meaningful adjustments. And it's helpful to look at the data and go, oh, this is the meaningful adjustment that I think I need the most. Of course, you can always get a coach to help you do that as well. We do that at Tradeway. So that's number two, tracking the progress. Think about that now. I'm getting into the end of the year. I'm celebrating what happened. Man, you know what happens when I journal? Just as a Christian, as a disciple, I value journaling. And I used to do it, I mean, every day for a long time. And I haven't. I haven't nearly as much as I used to. And I started doing it again recently, and it's reminded me a lot more happens in a single day than I even realized, right? I get to the end of the day, or maybe the next morning, I'm writing about the previous day, and I just write out what happened and where grace was and what God did and the blessings, even if I'm going through something challenging, right? Blair, what are you getting at? I'm saying when you take an inventory of grace, right? God's love washes over you. It's powerful. When we look back on what we did in an area, maybe we don't even see the breakthrough we want to see yet. We start to take an inventory of what is happening. It gets our eyes off of what isn't happening, and it creates energy for something new to happen. So that's really important with celebrating your progress. Tracking your progress, like I said, review, review, review. It's data, emotional, mental, but also numerical, numbers, P&L. What did I do? Why did I take the trades I took? Looking at some of the data, you can say, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to do more of that. Jeffrey Nance, our friend here and coach at Tradeway, says, do less of what isn't working and more of what is. Doesn't sound that profound at first, but once you become a trader, it's actually very profound. Do less of what's not working and more of what is. When you look at the data, you might see some things that go, yeah, okay, that's not working. I'm not going to do that anymore. This is working. I'm going to do that. Okay. So the third one is advance your progress. Obviously, I've been hinting at this. We want to move forward, right? We want to keep going. So we're going to set some goals. We're not even going to wait till January. We don't need to wait till January, right? January is only special because other people say it is. Now I get it's the beginning of the year. I'm not downplaying the significance of a new year. I love that too. I'm simply saying for us to be motivated from the outside in because it's January, it's not helpful. Let's be motivated from the inside out because we're alive today and we're not guaranteed tomorrow, right? That sounds like a better plan to me. So set some goals. Once you've done the first two, set some goals, right? What do I want to see happen next year? Maybe it was some things that I was shooting for this year and I didn't get to. I'm going to reassess that. I'm going to put that on the list again. Maybe it's changed. There's some other things I want to do. It's a strategy I want to learn, right? Of course, everybody wants to make more money in the new year. Maybe you could set a goal around that a little bit differently this year. I'm going to set a modest goal per month, and I'm just going to meet that goal. We've had students say, you know what, Blair, my goal is $100. Now, obviously they want to make more than $100, but they set a goal And the goal in the beginning is I'm just going to be consistent with that. I'm going to hit that. And you know what it does? It creates tremendous confidence, even if the goal is small, because it's about going, oh, well, if I can do 100, what can't I do? Right? So setting a goal and meeting it consistently does a lot for confidence. Maybe you adjust and set some goals like that. A strategy you want to learn. You want to take a course in a class. You want to reach out to coaches more, right? Whatever it is, write it down. Write it down and put it somewhere that it's going to influence you when you are thinking about and working on your trading. Okay. What you want to learn in 2023. That's important. All right. What is a challenge from 22? A challenge from 22. All right. Let's dig a little deeper then. I haven't made X amount of money yet. That's important. But let's get into the practical. The money is the fruit of the trading. So let's go to the trading. Let's go to the trading. What is a challenge that you didn't get past this year? Right? We've talked about some of the ones you did, the breakthrough you had. What are some of the things you didn't get this year that you want to put on that list and see, right? And see breakthrough in 2023? A fear I added in my notes, a fear that you may want to press through, right? That would be really important. What's the number one thing? If I did it, it would help me, but I don't because I'm uncomfortable. Maybe there's some fear there, whatever it is, right? Some people have said, oh man, I just would really, I hear credit spreads are amazing. Covered calls are amazing. Selling options versus buying them. But I'm intimidated and I just haven't done it yet. That's a great example. I hear that from students, right? Not just a few times. That would be something to press through, right? So this is a great way to do it. Set yourself some goals, but then also set yourself a time limit, right? Monthly goals, quarterly goals. You don't need a ton of them, right? You just need ones that actually matter to you. The goals we set in life should move us. If they don't move us, I don't think we're going to sacrifice to get them, right? So pick something that actually moves you, set a time limit on it, and then say, okay, what are some of the practical things? Two things, one thing that I'm going to do to begin to implement that. And again, you don't have to wait until January to make that happen, right? So that is going to be celebrate, track, advance your progress, how to end the trading year well. I'm telling you what, if you do this, if you do this, it will help give you power and clarity going into the next year. It's a way of being intentional, right? And any area of life that we're more intentional about, it's going to pay dividends, right? Intention is important. We're not just in a program floating through, of course, right? And of course, I'm not saying that anybody out there is doing that, but we all, hey, let's be real. I'm talking to myself here. We all have places in life where we're just kind of going, okay, I could use some more clarity here. I could use more intentionality here because I really want to get more out of this. Right. And that's, of course, what we talked about today. If you guys have never taken the Step One Start Your Journey course from Tradeway, head on over to tradeway.com. We've got one coming up in January. In January, and we will be doing 2 days, Friday, Saturday, teaching the foundational system that we use to get us going stock trading. Please come out and join us for that. Remember, you can always email us support@tradeway.com if you have any questions at all about anything that we do over here at Tradeway, maybe something we talked about right here on Market Monday. I would love to hear from you guys. If you have a topic you'd love me to cover, I would be happy to look at that as well. So you can always reach out. That's again, support@tradeway.com, and I will make sure to get that taken care of. Thank you guys so much for being on once again. I appreciate you guys. We're coming into the home stretch of the year, and I'm thankful for each and every one of you. I want you to finish strong. I want you to start strong. I intend to do the same myself. Thank you guys so much as always, and we will see you next time.